Thank you so much, Prakash, for getting us all those details. But with this, let's move on and let's deep dive more into this news flow, understand the implications of that, the impact on the airlines, as well as the likely rationale behind this move. And for all of this, we have been joined by Mr. Devesh Agarwal, who is an aviation expert. Hi, very good morning, Mr. Agarwal, and good to be speaking with you. So the government has finally hit the pause on a 60% free seat mandate. Firstly, why don't you help us understand that how will it really impact the economics of the airline companies? Because there has been a growing reliance on the ancillary revenues, like maybe the seat selection, the kind of beverages that they offer. So give us some sense that why this move and how it can really impact the financials of the company.
Firstly, good afternoon, Shishti. Thank you for having me on your show. I began this morning with a small quote. I said, the government propose it and the airlines dispose it. This was bureaucratic idealism being met by the cold, hard reality of profits by the airlines. And unfortunately, with the lack of political backing, the government was forced to retrace its steps. If you see globally, the trend has been to lower the airfares, but increasingly break it up or parcel it out, for lack of a better word, deconstruct the fares so that you will end up paying only for services that you want or are willing to pay for. If you see at a global level, say if the airfare was about $250, which is 25,000 rupees in today's exchange rates, but just using it as a parallel, it has fallen by down to almost about $160, $170 in terms of the basic fare. At the same time, the ancillary revenue, which could have been around $14, $15, has gone up by almost 100% to $25, $26. Even if we take Indigo, India's largest airline, on a I think almost 5% of the total revenue comes from what they call other income. They have unfortunately, I don't think, given an exact breakup. So seat fees are definitely a significant portion of an airline's revenue, and airlines also use it to how I use the word, gain corporate customers. So if you take an LCC like Akasa or Indigo or SpiceJet, many times they sign corporate contracts with big companies saying, okay, you give me, so many 100 crores worth of business. I will in turn give you, a free meal plus seating in this category free of charge, kind of bundle it into the fare. So these are very powerful marketing as well as revenue tools that are used by airlines. Having said that, I would like to point out one thing where the government, I think, missed out. It was in the original thing also, they never really planned for what I call family seating. Especially now, increasingly with more and more children flying, I think government should be cognizant of the fact that, sometimes you have predators in the sky. So children maybe who are under the age of 14 or 15 should be mandatorily seated next to an adult. The earlier one said should be seated adjacent on a best effort basis. There was nothing mandated. I think at least at the very minimum, the government say, family seating for, say, children under the age of
Yes,
15, because you don't
true.
want some untoward incident
Yes.
happening. We are increasingly seeing more and more people misbehaving on public transport.
True.
So I think that is something
No,
that the
there are
government
fair
can
suggestions,
do.
Mr. Agrawal. Yes, and family seating, because if a child is going and traveling with you, then they also have to pay and bear the full ticket. But along with that, Mr. Agrawal, just wanted to get back to this point of a 60% free mandate seat. Does this signal that the commercial viability concerns have really outpaced the customer intent or customer protectionism at this point in time? Because just a few days back, the customers were cheering the fact that now they don't have to bear or they don't have to be concerned that which seats they will actually get, because there will be a lot of seats that will be available for them to select from.
Sriti, in the world of business, there is nothing called a free lunch. If you're going to pay or you think you're going to get seats free, you're going to pay somewhere else and higher airfare. The economics of an airline does not change. In fact, I think this coming quarter is going to be extremely bad for the airlines. Luckily, the government is taking the hit on aviation fuel pricing to sort of keep the airline fares in check. But you're seeing airlines increasing the fuel surcharges and things like that. So it's if you don't pay for the seat, you will end up paying for it in the form of fare. And let me dispel the notion that there is any form of passenger protection rights. I'm sorry, there is a thing called the passenger charter that is put out by the ministry, but it is not the paper it is written on.
Oh.
Every form of exemption is given to the airline. They can cancel flights, they can delay flights, they can do anything they want, and they're essentially allowed to do anything they want.
True.
And there's no recourse. You can put a complaint in Air Seva, the ministry will say, we have forwarded the complaint to the
Yes.
airline, we shall see.
So,
That's
Mr.
it.
Agarwal, yes, of course, back in December, we have seen a lot of these customers definitely feeling the burn. But yes, this particular news flow is indeed important. And thank you so much, Mr. Agarwal, for taking the time out and helping us understand the details of the same and where does India stand with respect to the global standards as well. Your take was really interesting. Thank you.